Hey guys, welcome back. It has been a while. I wanted to make a video because I had a really crazy experience 2 nights ago, and I felt like my experience might be educational for some people. A little PSA, if you will. So, 2 nights ago, we were shooting photos for a prosthetics catalog, a company that makes foam latex prosthetics, and we had me turned into an alien. So I had probably $1,200 worth of foam latex, beautifully made alien prosthetics on, and then it was painted by a makeup artist that's painted tons of things for Hollywood movies, painted like some of the Shape of Water costumes, stuff like that. Like really talented guy, did the makeup, looked awesome. And typically for these things, we used to just do photos, maybe a little video to show movement, but we have all this invested into this shoot. So we're like, well, let's take this alien and make some kind of like a short film. So we contacted a director friend who also writes, and he wrote up this little quickie script. It's going to be like, two minute long kind of thing. Real quick script just to take advantage of this, production values, high production value stuff that was sitting around. The place where we shot it, the guy whose house we did the makeup at, actually has a cryogenic kind of chamber that was used in the show Teen Wolf. So it's like a, film prop, TV prop chamber with like a window in it. And it's, looks like sci-fi looking thing. So we're like, oh, we'll use this chamber and we'll have this, this whole thing will happen when the chamber will open and it'll be full of smoke, and it'll open, smoke will come out, and there'll be an alien in there. And that was going to be me. So I'm going to spoil this a little bit. We may end up shooting this again in the future because it was a pretty fun little script. I'm going to spoil a little bit and apologize if you don't want spoilers, but it's going to be a little spoiler for this thing. And there's a scene where a guy opens a chamber, this alien comes out and grabs him and pulls him in. So there's a reveal that happens through this smoke effect. So we rehearse a scene where I pull the guy in, he opens the chamber, I pull him in, and then we're getting ready to shoot. Like, okay, we got it all figured out, let's shoot this thing. We close it, and now we got to fill the chamber with smoke because there's a window in the front, and it's got to be opaque enough so you can't see this alien, because there's kind of like a reveal that happens that I'll get into in a minute. And there's a couple ways to fill this with like a smoky effect. You can do a fog machine, pump in a fog machine, you put a hole in the back somewhere, pump it in. You can do canned atmosphere, which is kind of like fog machine stuff, but it's in a spray can. They use it on film sets and stuff for various things when they don't want to tote in a whole fog machine. Or you could use like a dry ice effect, but it's usually not quite opaque enough for what was needed. So we're going to use the canned atmosphere. Cool, right? It worked just fine. And shut the thing. Director calls action, and I start to spray it. I'm holding the cans myself because it's just, the thing is small. There's no way to spray the stuff. So filling the thing with atmosphere. Now this stuff is breathable. Like I said, they use it on film sets, so it's around people all the time. But I'm making it really full in here, so I don't want to breathe it. So I kind of hold my breath. I figure I'm going to hold my breath maybe 40 seconds or 45 seconds or so until the scene is over. So I fill this thing, and as it's filling up, it starts to get more and more dense. I can see out of the window, I can see the cameraman, and as that's getting more and more opaque, when it gets to a point where it's just like, okay, now it's opaque enough, I can't see out, so they're probably going to start the shot where the guy opens the door. And I'm waiting for the cues, and all of a sudden, I'm waiting for the cues, and I'm standing there, and I kind of look down, and right as I look down, giant fireball ignites, boom! And all this fire comes rushing up, blows the door open, and it was super scary. And it burned me, so it looks like a sunburn here. And you can see it was really blistered yesterday. A lot of the blisters have popped and peeled. I'll get some pictures up here from yesterday too, but I still have some gross blisters here and blisters on this side. It got my stomach down here, this whole area, and my legs got burned, like real quick. So that was really scary. So like, what the hell just happened? Because, we're shooting this thing, there's no open flames or anything nearby. But it turned out that the light that we're using to illuminate this little capsule, this chamber, was hot enough to ignite the actual gases from this spray atmosphere, spray fog stuff. Now, Everybody I've talked to, initial thought is like, oh, I can't believe you let these people put you in this dangerous situation. But it didn't seem dangerous at all. It didn't seem any more dangerous than, I don't know, using a vacuum cleaner in the house. Like, sure, the vacuum cleaner could electrocute you somehow, but it probably won't. It didn't seem, there's nothing about the scenario that seemed dangerous at all. And the worst thing that I thought was like, oh, I got to breathe this stuff at such high concentration. So I just held my breath so I wouldn't have to breathe it. That's the only thing I was really like, I don't want to breathe so much of this. So I just held my breath. And that's really fortunate, I think. I'll tell you in a second why. But it turned out that, yeah, the light fixture in there just set this thing off. And it wasn't that hot. So we had the light fixture down at the bottom. It was kind of between my feet, which are really close to it. And it was warm, but it didn't feel hot. It didn't feel dangerously hot at all. Like, I didn't feel bad standing by it. Didn't feel like a thing. So it never would have crossed my mind that that would be hot enough to ignite this stuff. And I don't think anybody there considered that. If we're shooting it by a fire, or again, if there's an open flame nearby, I would be maybe a little paranoid about it. But never in a million years would I consider that light fixture would have set the thing off. So that was very scary. Now you can see how it burned my neck. How I got these little like tiger stripe lines. That's because right when it went off, I looked down like this, so my skin wrinkled up. So right as I looked down, it ignited. And the crazy thing is, I saw the fire come up. It looked like slow motion. I had all of these thoughts before the fire even like covered me. I had all these thoughts in my head of like, whoa, well, that's a fire. And in this container that I'm in actually latches, so I could be locked in. And I was like, holy shit, I hope this door will open. Thought that, I'm like, this fire's coming up. Like, oh shit. I thought in my brain, it felt like a little fire started by my feet and it was like coming up, but it was like instantly fast. When you see the video, which I'll post at the end of this, it is so fast. It just flashes off, blows the door to this thing open. But all these thoughts went through my head. I cannot believe how quickly you can think of things when the situation comes up like this. It's very eye-opening. But I also, there's a lot of things I feel very fortunate for. One is that none of my clothes, I just was wearing shorts, none of those caught on fire. The actual prosthetics protected my face and my chest, so it looks like a tank top here, and I had this big chest piece of like alien kind of chest, and that's where the edge of it was. And it looks like I was wearing a tank top and got sunburned. But fortunately, I didn't get my whole chest all burned, because my whole chest would have been blistered like this for sure. And my face would have been blistered for sure. And every exposed hair on my body burned off instantly. It just smelled like burnt hair immediately. And the one thing I'm most fortunate for is a good friend of mine was supposed to be in the chamber before me, because the smoke was too high to transition. Because when the guy finds the pod in the scenario in the movie, the little film we're doing, he finds the pod, he looks in the window, and there's this pretty girl in there who is supposed to be, a relative basically, and he is going to try to take her out of this pod. She's in there like cryogenic sleep kind of thing, and when he undoes a latch, it's supposed to fill with smoke. And then when he opens the door, she is now an alien. So this pod is basically keeping this alien in human form. That's what the pod is there for. So if we'd filmed it in the order that it shows up in the film, my friend with no prosthetic makeup to protect her would have been in there and probably been the exact same scenario that I was in, but with nothing to protect her face. Probably would have burned off her hair, burned her face really bad, a lot of stuff. I feel very, very lucky that, I got lucky this wasn't worse. This is only, it's not horrible. It's like just worse than a really, really bad sunburn. So, it could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. But if it was her in there, it definitely would have burned her face. Her hair for sure would have caught on fire. And I'm really, really, really glad that was not the case. So, feel very fortunate. So anyway, hopefully my experience can be a learning tool for some other people. And if you're using that canned fog stuff, be careful around lights and things. Like I said, I've seen this used on film sets tons of times. And I don't know if I said this before, but scenarios like if there's people driving a car and the car is full of smoke, a lot of times they'll use this to fill the car up with smoke, and they'll open windows, smoke will pour out. It's very easy to do. You don't have to tote a fog machine and figure out how to hook it up. It's, it covers those needs really well. But I've never ever seen it burst into flames. I've seen it around big hot studio lights and not catch fire or anything. So again, not even a consideration in my brain that I was in some kind of dangerous situation. So stuff could catch on fire. The ignition temperature apparently is not that high. So if you use it, be really, really careful. But I'm going to stick the full video at the end. I may have put some clips in here. I don't know what I'm doing right now. So anyway, have a good day. And hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Later. Bye.
I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, go all the way to the left.
Oh, shit. What the
shit.
fuck was that?
Holy fuck.
Wow.
Shit.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, but holy fuck.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh my god.
So also, quick look at some of the burns here. Really fun times. Super good stuff, right? Pretty gross.